I did not click like on this item. I did share the posting with Mr. Reidner. To my knowledge, there is no law, policy, or norm that forbids me from sending a posting that I did not create to someone else. Unless you have other questions, I will leave it at that. However, I do believe that there are a number of issues that do need to be resolved before this board can work collegiately and respectfully again together. And I would invite phone calls from anyone who has a problem with anything I've said or done, because I don't think the pot should call the kettle black.
Communication, discussion. Any other comments at this point? Right. We're moving on to consideration of future agenda items. The only new item that is not already on your calendar is, and Mrs. Williams, you had requested that we look at revising the budget calendar. And you will see that coming forward. And we'll do that on December 1st, and that work session's on the 15th, so we'll have time to handle that at that time. All right, board member comments. Ms. Greenwald. Nothing this
Nothing
evening?
at this time.
Okay. Mrs. Hirschman.
Comment about the cell phone. I think regardless of where you work or what you do, if you are taking money for a job, you need to address that job at that time.
Mrs. Williams.
I have no comments, thank you.
Dr. Wilcox, any other comments this evening? Dr. Hardings.
Actually, I have a few, although I'll probably have a plane to catch, so I may keep them shorter than I had planned. I too want to extend my thanks to all of our employees as part of the celebration of Education Week. I was at the state cross-country meet over the weekend and saw a number of our employees doing things motivating, encouraging, consoling students, creating real character in our young people, which I came away just inspired. And I know that's just a microcosm that our coaches are engaged in of what goes on every day in all of our schools. But it really struck me, and I wanted to just, I mean, it was Boonesboro and Smithsburg have been battling fiercely all season, boys and girls. And when the state meet was over, the sportsmanship shown between those two teams, between individuals, was really inspiring. I think, frankly, could be a lesson for all of us. And I attribute that to the good character of the kids, but also to having great coaches and mentors who teach them the true value of athletics and the true value of competition, and teach the kids to have good character. So that, for me, was a reminder of all that all of our employees do all the time. Let's see. I want to thank President Becker for his comments. I'm sorry I wasn't at the meeting here 2 meetings ago when he came to speak about class time or class size and planning time. I appreciated his follow-up. I would like to follow up some on what Dr. Wilcox said regarding budget. He mentioned several items, all of which have a price tag that we are going to have to address in this budget cycle. Two that he didn't mention that I know are important to President Becker and his members are class size and planning time. All of these items, whether it's OPEB, the pension gap, class size, planning time, supplies for teachers, salary, healthcare costs, all of these have real costs, and they all directly affect our employees. So in the spirit of his request that we work collaboratively, I would invite you, President Becker, because it would be great if we had enough money next year to fund all of those. I think that's unlikely. So we are going to have to make some choices about which are our priorities among that list. And I would invite you, President Becker, and your team to be a partner in that and to tell us where you want those priorities to be. Because we can't do everything. And I don't think any board member wants to feel like if we choose one thing over another, we're going to get blasted because we're making difficult choices. The choices are difficult, and I think if we make them collaboratively, I think you'll get the best outcome from the board, and I think the best outcome for our employees. So I just extend that invitation quite publicly. Excellent. Excellent. Finally, I want to thank the Boonesboro Police Department, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, and the Boonesboro Fire Department. As the two teams came back from their state meet to Boonesboro after winning the state championship, all of those entities met the bus that was carrying the team at the top of South Mountain and gave them a police escort all the way back to Boonesboro High School. The kids just were so excited when they saw those fire trucks, and the lights were all over, and sirens and horns, and it's something that the kids will never forget, and I'll tell you, I don't think their parents will ever forget either. Something simple that they did, and it really, I think, it made quite a capstone to a fabulous day for Boonesboro athletics. So thanks to all of those partners for their time and effort. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Kessler.
Yes, I have a couple things. I'd be remiss to not include Erica and Melissa in this remark about Western Heights. We attended the literacy program out there this past week, or last week, and it was fabulous. The community that came out to support the school literacy program was tremendous, and my colleagues were there. We walked around. Were able to. I got a personal tour of the school from Principal Matt Mariello, and he was a very proud principal that night. His staff really put on a great program. It was a spaghetti feed, and he had so many young children volunteering, which was very, very nice to see. It was just a great evening. So I know my colleagues, they said they had a great time too. So also like to say I attended the veterans program out at Pangbourne, and for some reason, I guess it's because it's late, I can't remember the principal's name. So if anyone can remember the principal's name from Pangbourne, he did a fabulous job. But I will have to send a shout out to Mrs. Perini, who I guess is in charge of their music program. That program, 2 years I've been there, and it blows me away every time, and I was so thankful that I was able to go again this year. So thank you to everyone at Pangbourne for that. And just to thank and wish everybody a very safe and thankful Thanksgiving that's coming up. There's so many people that are homeless in Hagerstown. We have a student population. If you can take one of those folks home, and take him into your family for the weekend, for the celebration of Thanksgiving, please do so. And just we're thankful for the staff who show up every day and work very hard. So just a thank you for that. That's all I have.
Eric Meredith.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mrs. Fisher.
Again, I'd like to thank those individuals who so eloquently spoke to us tonight about their passion for BISFA and their need for additional classroom space, for a hub, not only for themselves, but as many of them also indicated, for other boutique programs. Nevertheless, I feel compelled to address the opposition on this board that has helped shut this project down for now. My comments may also help to explain some other concerns I have. So as we appear to have 3 board members who are dead set against the creation of a hub to serve BISFA and other potential boutique learning programs with a facility where they can take their required courses in the basic disciplines such as math, science, English, social studies, and so on. Their arguments have been primarily of cost and safety, but they have even attacked former and present board members who first pursued and approved the creation of a school for the arts because the building was not large enough to house all the necessary classes. Let's consider the issues that they have touted. Safety. One board member has cited student safety as a reason for not supporting the hub. Her irrational concerns might lead one to believe that she also wants BISFA closed, since she claims that Hagerstown is not a safe place for our students, for her, or would not have been for her children. All across America, there are schools located in downtown areas. The largest cities in our nation have schools of all types located in urban areas, even elementary schools. Yet it is extremely rare to hear of those urban students becoming victims of crime. Statistics show that students are far more likely to be harmed riding in a vehicle than walking on the streets where urban schools are located. Should we eliminate the technical high school, magnet schools, and academy programs because students might be in a vehicle longer than they would if they were just riding to their home schools? Well, that's silly, but so are her issues. When Mayor Geispertz reached out to this person to discuss her fears and to have the acting chief of police review safety measures in place for BISFA students, she not only refused to meet him, but she hung the phone up on him. In addition, these three have criticized the board that originally envisioned, approved, and created BISFA because of its lack of space for required classes. But isn't this exactly what was also done when the technical high school was built? When an opportunity arises to do the right thing for the betterment of our students, sometimes not all the needs can be met right away. Nevertheless, solutions can usually eventually be found. I can recall Tech High students traveling back and forth to their home schools for half a day, each and every day, so they could get their required classes. Then it was changed to every 2 weeks. Eventually, Tech High became self-contained. Should Tech High never have been built? Had these three board members been on the board back then, there might never have been a Tech High. So what if today's board has to deal with finding a way to provide classroom space for BISFA and future boutique schools? What are we here for if it's not for the students? When the board had first envisioned the School for the Arts, there were concerns. I had some even. They expressed them respectfully. They gathered facts and information. They listened to one another's ideas and views. They researched existing art schools. Concerns were addressed in a mature manner. They did not create irrational scenes during board meetings. They did not work behind one another's backs to halt the venture by secretly composing a letter to the state delegation against the project. Regardless of board members' individual votes, once a decision is reached, all those earlier board members supported the endeavor for the good of the system and, more importantly, for the good of students. If a hub is never established, what will happen to BISFA? That certainly must be the thought in the students' minds who were here tonight so passionately expressing their feelings for their school. What will this group do next? What I am wondering, actually, is what is their true agenda? Thank you.
Mr. Ridenhour,
Yes,
any
ma'am.
comments this evening?
Real quickly, because I know Dr. Hardings has a flight, I'm going to play Paul Bailey for just a second, if I may, which I feel honored to do. This fall has been remarkable as far as athletics in Washington County are concerned. We're going to need a bag the size of Santa Claus to pass out all the medals that are going to occur as a result of state championship teams. So I'm thrilled beyond belief, but I'm also thrilled, for example, in how students performed even in a loss. I would take, for example, maybe one of the greatest football games ever played in Washington County took place at Boonesboro High School last week, where after 40-plus minutes of competition, the score was 0-0. And in an overtime game, the last play ended up being the deciding score that ended Boonesboro's opportunity to move on in state competition. But it speaks volumes to the great year that they had, and I'm proud to have been a part of Boonesboro High School athletics, and I send my congratulations to those students and also the coaches for an outstanding year. I'd also like to comment, Williamsport High and North High both fell in regional competition in volleyball, had outstanding seasons. Smithsburg moves on one more time for an opportunity at another state championship. As I said to Dr. Hardings, when the Boonesboro cross-country team won their 2 state championships, I said there's nothing like a state championship. No matter how you perform as an individual, whether if you're a baseball player, whether you got at bat, or whether you fielded a ground ball, you're still a state champion. And I think that is, it is remarkable. And I know what that course is like. It is a bear. It is the hardest course in the state of Maryland, and we had probably the worst day ever for runners to compete. It was warm and it was windy. They're the 2 worst things that a runner wants to deal with. But congratulations to them. Congratulations to Smithsburg for the runner-up finish. I was at, I guess it was last Tuesday, at the National Blue Ribbon Awards ceremony in Washington. Unfortunately for me, only 2 people could go into the main hallway for the celebration and the passing out of the awards. I had to sit in a hallway and watch TV and take pictures of my wife and Mr. Chilcutt getting the award over a big screen TV. But congratulations to Smithsburg High School National Blue Ribbon Award winner. And that is a remarkable honor, and I'm very proud of the people involved in that. And finally, I had the honor of watching a play at BISFA this Saturday called Forbidden Broadway. If you want to chuckle, want to have a good time and see those young people in action, I would recommend you take a couple minutes or a couple hours and go take a peek. It is a great show. So congratulations to them and all of our kids and all of our teachers, all of our support personnel on National Education Week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ridenhour. I will conclude the meeting with a happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and thank you for the patience in a long meeting this evening. We are at the end of our agenda, and we are adjourned.